With breaking news from the Inland Empire, where authorities say human remains have been found in the search for a missing couple presumed dead.
The couple's neighbor has been arrested on suspicion of murder. KTLA 5 Jennifer McGraw live now in Redlands, where authorities just provided an update in the investigation. Jennifer?
Glenn and Lou, we were anxiously awaiting this press conference that just took place. We are told that the fire department here in Redlands did enter the home and they were able to find human remains in bags. They would not say what kind of condition the body was in, but do believe that it is the Maynards, but they could not say in fact and confirm that quite just yet. Now take a look. This was the scene yesterday as investigators got into that home. SWAT had to take that man out. He eventually surrendered, but not without a fight. We were just told by authorities that he actually tried to kill himself, but the gun did not go off. He was found underneath his home in a bunker that it looks like he had made.
Hold on. This sounds like some Texas Chainsaw Massacre story. You telling me they found human remains underneath of a house? SWAT came in trying to take out Buddy. Buddy didn't want to surrender. Gun jammed. And now Buddy locked up? That's the whole conclusion to all of this. This is crazy. Buddy was out here dropping bodies and digging goddamn tunnels underneath his goddamn house. They said he had a bunker. Dropping bodies and hiding in the bunker. Nah, I'm trying to tell you, if y'all ever seen the movie Texas Chainsaw Massacre, they had that basement in there with that man over here dismembering body parts with a damn chainsaw. No.
Made some sort of like concrete 5-foot high bunker, and that's also where the human remains were found. 62-year-old Michael Sparks of Redlands was taken into custody last night, believed of killing Stephanie Maynard and Daniel Maynard, 79 years old. SWAT brought in robots to nearly tear the home apart to eventually get that man into custody. The couple was reported missing by a friend when they didn't show up for church, which is highly unusual. Concerning initially grew for the Maynards last week when personal items like a cell phone and Stephanie's purse were still inside the home. The Maynards' vehicle was found unlocked with keys still inside, but parked just down the road from their house. Neighbors say Spark kept to himself, but they say he was a really nice man. Nicknamed him Sparky. They are all still in shock by the news. This is what we heard from a press conference just a short while ago.
Now, for murder suspects, I have a question though. A real life question. You think if you go drop bodies, no matter, you could go to goddamn Alabama, to the countryside. You could go to goddamn Texas. You could go to goddamn Oklahoma. There's cameras on the highways. All right? That's number one. There's cameras on the highway. There's cameras on the interstate. There's cameras in the cities. Then they got tag readers for y'all funky asses. You know, that thing y'all gonna be doing drive-bys and driving around and ain't nobody gonna notice y'all. No. The tag reader picked up your location. It knows where you at, what you doing, and what store you hopped into. And you still think you could go commit these goddamn vicious crimes and get away with it? There's a camera all up inside down your funky ass. All right? So stop doing crime. Because you know you can't do the time.
Minutes ago, members of the Redlands Fire Department, certified in confined space operations, entered the space beneath the suspect's house and began to remove bags of evidence that was in that space. At this time, I can confirm the presence of human remains under the house. We have a representative from the coroner's office here who are evaluating the remains, but obviously we're not going to be able to identify those at this time.
Yeah, the home was badly damaged during the breach, which is why investigators say...
This is the demon right here. This is the demon in cold flesh. That's out here taking people out and dumping their body underneath their house. Underneath his house, my bad. Underneath his house. This is crazy. Look at his eyes. You can see he's soulless. He don't got no soul in there. It's empty. And I know if there ain't no soul in there, then this ain't functioning properly. Because a lot of criminals' brains don't function properly. That's why they doing these things. It don't function right. And you want to go do this to some good old folks. And salute to the church-going members that was like, wait a second. He ain't show up for church. So if he ain't show up for church, which is he always shows up for church, something is going on. Something is wrong. And meanwhile, his funky-ass neighbor is the one that's charged with the couple murder. Even you, that's why I keep telling you, man, you don't know who you living next door to. You don't know. You could live next door to a serial killer, a psychopath. You just don't know. Keep your eyes open. Keep your ears, ringing. And peep what's going on around your neighborhood. Because you just don't know. And you too could end up falling the victim if you ain't too careful out here.
It wasn't safe for them to go in quite yet, but they were able to go in using cadaver dogs, confirming human remains. And then again, the fire department went in as well. Now, we don't know much about the suspect other than people say he was a nice man. He lived out here for about 30 years and he kept to himself. But they do have something that they believe may have triggered him.
It's sad. It should have never happened. It was for a stupid reason, and it should have never happened.
What do you think that reason was?
Dan and Sparky, Mike, shared.
I'm sorry, but where her clothes at? I know KTL News ain't doing no interview with a woman with no clothes, except a whole bunch of tattoos. Yeah, this gotta be some Texas Chainsaw Massacre type of stuff, cause this is exactly how the people looked in that movie. This is exactly how the people look. It was some countryside. I don't know if there was hillbillies or what in the movie, but this how the scenery looked too. This how the scenery looked.
The tree, and Dan used to come out and trim the limbs because, they were coming over on his and Stephanie's property, and that made Sparky mad. And I guess he held that grudge all these years.
That's the excuse?
And Tammy tells me the home next door, as you can see, was very damaged by her house. She's not even allowed inside her house until they can deem that it is safe for her to go back home. She tells me that the community is shook. She never thought in a million years that somebody could have, from their very own community, could have committed this heinous crime. Back out here live, it's unlikely that we will get any more updates today, but they are saying that the suspect, Sparks, is not cooperating with police. That's very latest. We're live in Redlands. Jennifer McGraw.
Of course he ain't cooperating with police, ma'am. What you think he gonna do is to say, yeah, I did all of that? He gonna drag this case out. Yeah, he gonna drag it out. Because he already know he about to get the death penalty. That's two bodies. That's a 2-in-1 combo. He getting the death penalty automatically. And he know that his time's up. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for Spook. Benjamin, appreciate that. Let's get into the next episode.
Incident still under investigation.
Justice is going to be served. I don't care if it takes 20 years.
That's the investigator for the Butler County Prosecutor's Office who helped track down this guy, one of Butler County's most wanted, Antonio Reno. He is accused of killing someone outside of a bar in Hamilton in 2004. Investigators...
Wait 1 minute. Spin it back. Let's rewind it. Check this out. He killed someone back in 2004, ran to Mexico, ran his funky ass to Mexico. Underlay, yeah, like that. He escaped through the tunnels that they have in Texas or Arizona or wherever. He escaped to Mexico and became a police officer. Make that make sense, ma'am and sir. How you gonna kill someone in America, flee to Mexico, and become a police officer? When did criminals can become a police officer of the law? So Mexico is out here not doing background checks and making just anybody on the street. You could become a junkie and still become a police officer in Mexico. If a murderer can do this, nah.
Saying the U.S. Marshals tracked him down to Mexico, where he was serving as a police officer. Of all things, Ken Brown spoke to prosecutors who tried to track him down. He's live outside the Hamilton Police Department. Of all things he could be, Ken.
Yeah, and right now he's actually on his way from CVG back here to Butler County to be questioned by police. It's the U.S. Marshals and the Butler County Prosecutor's Office who's helping to transport him back up here. This took years of searching for him, even more years of paperwork as well to try and get him back here. And now that's happened, and he's going to soon be back here in Butler County in handcuffs. The crime scene tape has long been taken down at the corner of East Avenue and Long Street, just blocks from the Butler County Sheriff's Office. But in 2004, this was the spot where...
And wait a second. You're telling me it took 20 years to get justice for a murder that happened? We in 2024. This happened in 2004, 20 years. And the person that he murdered ain't get no justice. He ain't get no, she or he did not get no justice. I'm telling you off top. If someone killed me and in 20 years y'all found the suspect, y'all, I ain't get no justice. No, I died in vain, in agony. And I'll be rolling in my grave too. He already done lived his life for 20 years. He done hunched. He done kicked back in Mexico with his belly starving and rotating. He done became a police officer. Probably done gave a couple of dudes some battery charges, some murder charges and all that. Meanwhile, too, he a murderer too. Nah, this is crazy.
Investigators found Benjamin Baccara dead. He was shot in the face, and investigators say the man behind the trigger was Antonio Riano.
He was on the most wanted poster here in Butler County for the better part of 2 decades. I mean, he's had an outstanding warrant. I mean, he's had red notices from international Interpol. He's had, the U.S. Marshals will look for him.
The prosecutor's office tells us a dispute in the bar led to the shooting outside. Surveillance cameras on the building captured the ordeal, and in the days that followed, police identified Riano as the suspect and found the murder weapon hidden inside his apartment. They say the only issue was Riano had fled the country and went into hiding. That was 20 years ago.
It's all about catching the bad guy, and tracking him down, because I think he thought he was home free. And that's what gives you the resolution. It's like, poke your head up, I got you.
Once the prosecutor's office located Riano, they spent several years filing paperwork with federal authorities to get him back to Hamilton to face charges.
Working on a case for 6 to 7 years, having to file an affidavit, having to, file a lot of paperwork, having to have witnesses sign affidavits. There certainly was a lot of work that was done in this case in order to get us to this point.
When U.S. Marshals found Riano, he was working at a police department in Mexico.
Shocking. The word is shocking. I couldn't believe it. I looked at the photograph. I was like, he's a police officer. In a small town in Mexico.
In a small town in Mexico, a police officer. Golly, what this word came up to. You could murder somebody, flee to Mexico, and become a police officer. Goddamn. And then, too, now you got the badge to kill. So, he didn't have the badge in America to kill. Now he done flee to Mexico, he got the badge to kill. Imagine that. Imagine that. You got the green light to kill since you're a police officer, and he could drop any amount of Mexican bodies that he wants to. That's crazy, and it took 20 years. Thank God for advanced technology, but hey, he already done served his life. Even right now, if he was to go serve a life sentence, he don't give a damn. He done lived up his life. Y'all should have caught him 20 years ago when he was young. Then that would have affected him. Anyway, man, it's Spook tuning out, making y'all stay informed, up to date, giving y'all raw news, raw information. Spook is out. Deuce and salute. Y'all have a blessed day and a blessed night.